Okay, guys, I'm back. I fixed some things on this sketch in order to try to make the birds look a little fluffy again. I removed the... Oh, you're out of focus. Hang on a second. Let me tap this and get you... There you go. I removed the salt too early from the wood, and it didn't give me the wood grain I wanted. So what I'm doing is basically taking a flat brush like this. This is probably, it says a size 10, but if you were going by a flat brush size, I think it's probably, I don't know, ½ inch, probably ½ inch. And I'm just taking it, a wet brush, and I'm lifting some of the sepia and burnt sienna up off of the wood in order to give it a wood grain. And it's a little trick that kind of makes the wood look a little more realistic. So I've been doing that, and that's all I did. And then I just take a paper towel and I dab it to pull some of that color out. And then I lifted some of the color up over here where the wood was lighter under the chickadees' feet. And I left the mossy area over here. I thought that looked good. I was really unhappy with the way the wings turned out. I don't think I can lift much of the color up off of the wings because this area was very light gray. But I used a mix of sepia and indigo, if you remember. And indigo is a staining color. So to lift color off of it is really difficult. So I think I'm just going to have to leave these birdies like this. And the nice thing is that this is a sketchbook, so other than you all, nobody else has to really see it. But anyway, this is how it turned out. I went back with my Uni Pin Fine Point pen, and I added a little more of the little feathery brush strokes around the head and the body in order to give the bird a little more character and to even out some of the bleeding areas that I had. I lifted some of the color up off of the beak because the beak isn't truly black. It is kind of a faded black to kind of that funny brown gray color. So here I've got a little bit of bleeding, and I'm just going to go up above here and make that into some bark. And then you don't even notice it. And the same with down here. There's a little bleeding here, so I'm just going to add some bark in. And then you won't see that either. And it kind of hides the effect, or the mess up, I mean, that I made. I'm doing it over here too. I've got some other marks there. That's all just a problem I had because I can't get my head close enough to the book. My head's about 3 feet away, and I've got my arms stretched way out, so I'm having a little bit of trouble, but that's my excuse. Anyway, I just got back into watercolor after a few years away. I'd been doing, I do primarily pastel work, some oil, and I like those medium, and I did plein air painting, but because of health problems, I was having some difficulty carrying the weight of all of the equipment around all the time. It's hard, and sometimes I'd have to make trips back to my car, so I was limited on where I could go to paint. It wasn't like I was going to go hiking off the beaten path because my back won't tolerate it. I got an autoimmune disease. Ankylosing spondylitis is what it's called, and it is very painful. Been in pain for like 13 years, and some days are better than others, and I still plan to plein air paint, but urban sketching requires a lot less supplies, and they're a lot lighter weight, so that's why I decided to get into it. And you know, it's actually less expensive because if you're using a sketchbook, you're paying less money overall. I'm going to try to hide that little spot under that tail because when you're sketching in a sketchbook, you might pay $15 for a sketchbook. And you've got at least 48 pages or so if you're using front and back. So there's no canvases involved in all the expensive stuff or expensive pastel papers and all of that. I still love, love, love pastel, and I will always be a pastel painter, but I like watercolor too. That was where I started, so it's just I've got to kind of relearn the whole thing. And now this is dry. I'm going to try to bring some of the sky color up into this area. Hopefully this ink is dry. I got to get closer to their heads. This could actually have been a cloud. That's not a big deal. But anyway, so that is the finishing touch on this sketch. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, just leave them below, or comments. Anything that you'd like to see me do in a video. And everybody have a great day and do something nice for someone. Bye.